Well, I feel so vindicated right now because Xbox President Sarah Bond has appeared to confirm that the next-gen Xbox will be a hybrid PC and console. The next-gen console will be a very premium and a high-end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld. And what handheld she talking about? Well, she's talking about the Xbox ROG Ally. And we actually got some interesting tidbits about the pricing for that just recently as well. So stay tuned for a new video talking about that. But first, I'm Blaze. We cover Xbox, we cover gaming, we cover handheld gaming every day on the channel multiple times a day. So come join, like, subscribe, click the bell icon. If you just love staying up to date on tech news and all that good stuff, I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get to like 100,000 subscribers and it feels so far away but so close at the same time. And come give us a follow on X as well, because I'm always retweeting and resharing stuff, especially gaming news and everything, all that good stuff. So if you want to stay up to date, come join us. So I'm going to jump in and I'm going to react to this interview from Tom Warren over at Mashable, where he basically interviewed Sarah Bond, who's basically essentially going to be the new CEO of Xbox, I believe, after Phil Spencer leaves. We all love Phil Spencer. He's a great guy, but my goodness, has he been punching us in the stomach lately with a lot of this Xbox decisions. The price increases, the Game Pass price increases, one thing after the other. It seems to keep knocking us down as Xbox fans, but it's going to take a lot more than that for me to fall out with Xbox permanently. Anyways, let's get into this interview. But to catch you up, Sarah Bond, obviously, sorry, I guess she is the Xbox CEO now. Sorry, what's Phil Spencer then? The president of Xbox? Either way, she's basically the new boss of Xbox, or one of the bosses for Xbox, and she's basically been explaining, and this has been, the writing's been on the wall for a while now, guys. Obviously, Xbox are taking a different direction going forward in terms of the future of their gaming division, right? They're focusing more on software and software platforms. They're basically championing this whole Xbox Play Anywhere ethos, where they're going to be putting their games on everything, you know, PlayStation, Xbox devices, handheld gaming PCs, smartphones via Xbox Cloud and all that good stuff. So basically Xbox just wants everything to be an Xbox, which in some respects is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I mean, I do have some sour memories, a little bit of Sega dropping out of the gaming handheld or the gaming hardware market back then. I mean, look, the Sega Genesis was amazing. Can you imagine in the Dreamcast? Can you imagine if Sega were still here making consoles, you know, giving PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox a run for their money? More competition's a good thing. So it saddens me a little bit at the thought and the rumors about Xbox leaving the hardware market, but they keep reiterating and saying, you know, we're not out of this thing yet. We just want to put our games and software and everything. Wherever you can play games, we want you to play games, Xbox games. And obviously they've been taking a different path with their gaming handheld, the Xbox ROG Ally. You know, it's $1,000 device. Phil Spencer just months ago basically said, hey guys, we're not going to grow the console and the Xbox market by selling $1,000 handheld gaming consoles. And then, you know, Asus goes and releases an Xbox gaming handheld, because they had to keep reiterating that it was an Xbox and is an Xbox, but they're selling it for $1,000, and Microsoft have had to sort of backtrack and say, whoa, sorry guys, you know, we never got to set the price for this thing. It was purely Asus. They wanted to sell it cheaper, but Asus were like, no, we think this thing's worth $1,000. So anyways, yes, a little bit of, you know, contradictions coming from Xbox and Phil Spencer especially, but it is what it is. But this is going to carry over to the next-gen Xbox console, which they are going to be working on. Now, they've confirmed that they've got a multi-year partnership with AMD. They're going to be making a next-gen Xbox, but it's going to be a lot different than the Xboxes we've had in the past, whether that's for better or for worse, right? And it's basically going to be a gaming PC, and I think that's what we've been all wanting for a while. You know, Xbox is owned by Microsoft. Microsoft makes Windows. Microsoft, you know, is a massive proponent of gaming PCs. Obviously, their software runs on most gaming PCs. I mean, don't get me started on SteamOS and stuff. I love SteamOS, I do. But the majority of gamers, if you're building a top-end gaming PC, you know, the easiest route is just to install Windows and do gaming on Windows. And it's always been a little bit silly to me that Xbox has put out really powerful gaming hardware as far as consoles, like the Xbox Series X, but they've not allowed us to just install Windows and use it like a budget gaming PC, right? Because that would be sick. Imagine your little Xbox box, the Series X, slapping that on your desk, you know, connecting the mouse and keyboard to it in multi-monitor setup, and basically just having it be like a $500, $600 epic gaming PC. That would be amazing. Well, that's what we've been asking for. That's what I've been asking for, and that's seems to be the way that Xbox is heading, or the direction they're heading. We've obviously seen that with the Xbox Rogue Ally and them just branching out with their games. So this is good. It's exciting. But with this change, I think is going to come a higher price tier with tariffs, with inflation going up and everything like that. Xbox consoles are going to be different. They're going to be priced tier, and with that, you know, increased price, we're going to get a lot more freedom in terms of what we can do. We're going to be able to install Windows on this thing. I hope they don't siphon, you know, gatekeep. I hope they just allow us to install full Windows, run Game Pass games, Xbox games on this thing. I think it's going to be amazing. But we're about to see, I'm 5 minutes into the video. I'm sorry for rambling. This is a subject close to my heart. It really is. And again, please like, subscribe if you want to join us, because we're going to be following this very closely. Xbox 360, I've always said, was my favorite console of all time, especially for the multiplayer component. Xbox Live and stuff just changed my life, man. I mean, I had so many friends on that. Some of my most favorite cherished memories gaming when I was a little bit younger were on the Xbox 360. I mean, Halo 3, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Gears of War. Gosh, so many Xbox games came out back to back to back during that era, and it was amazing. Anyways, let's watch this interview. Let's see what Mr. Tom Ward has to say and Sarah Bond has to say over here on Mashable's video. Let's react. Damn, it's been a hell of a weekend for me. YouTube's got a whole new UI. I come back to a whole new UI for the first time in a while. Anyways, let's watch it. Sorry. Let's see what she's got to say.
Timothy Beckworth. I'm the tech editor at Mashable. I'm here with Sarah Bond. The president of Xbox. That has to be the coolest job title I can imagine. I know you have kids. They must think that's the coolest thing ever, right?
It is the coolest job title. It is also the coolest job. Yeah, but my kids do think it's pretty awesome, but they're always asking for stuff, of course.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine they want to play this amazing device, which we'll talk about in a second, early. They want.
I must say, I think Sarah Bond's done a really good job, and I'm happy that she's the CEO of Xbox right now. I thought Phil Spencer was, maybe he's the president of the Xbox division or something, but I know her and Phil Spencer have done such a great job, and I think she's going to be taking Xbox forward in the future, and I think she's done a great job so far, and the way she's, you know, the way she's pivoting Xbox, I think it's a good thing, and I think she's done a good job. I'm happy to see her in the role, because I feel like there's been a lot of bad decisions in the gaming industry lately, but I feel like she's hitting all the right things, except for the pricing stuff. I think, Sarah, if you're listening to this video, I think you could do a bit. You could maybe, you know, convince the Microsoft higher-ups that, you know, they could be a little bit gentler on the price increases. But, you know, so far, I think she's doing a good job, and I like the way things are going. Oops, we had a bit of sound overlap there, sorry. What is that? Never seen that before in my life. That is awesome, but it's at the same time, I think it's unfortunate, because I think they actually canned their in-house, their own Xbox. They basically spoke to AMD. I don't know if you watched my other video talking about that, but basically, I think Xbox approached AMD to make a custom silicone, custom chip for their in-house Xbox, not the Xbox Rogue Ally, but their own physical hardware. They obviously make Surface devices. They make great hardware. It could have been so good, and we were kind of hoping that maybe it would be a custom chip from AMD that can run Xbox Series S console games and PC games and function as a PC. And obviously, with Xbox hardware, with their control over the pricing and stuff, I think it would have been phenomenal. But I think basically AMD says, well, listen, if we are going to do this, we're going to make this custom chip, you need to sell at least 10 million units. And Xbox was like, 10 million units? Oh, I mean, how many consoles has the Steam Deck sold? How many consoles did we sell with the Xbox Series X? 6 million? Oh, you know what? We're just going to stick with the Rogue Ally from Asus, which is unfortunate. It's a darn shame, man. I, for some reason, keep messing up the audio in this video, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm looking at my OBS screen recording stuff here. I unmuted the audio for us to watch this freaking interview, and then we're watching it together, and I look back and it's muted again. I am so sorry, guys. Let me rewind, okay? We're only a few minutes in.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine they want to play this amazing device, which we'll talk about in a second, early. They want all the games early.
Everything early. And they are actually really good at giving me ideas and testing things out. So
That's got to be an advantage.
Yeah.
So we're obviously here to talk about an exciting new device.
Let me speed
Tell
this
us what
up.
this is. I know
Yeah.
people have been waiting years for this one.
yeah, I mean, this is the Xbox Ally. It is the first time ever that we have created an Xbox handheld. The teams worked with Asus and with Windows to create this device. So now you can finally actually take Xbox with you anywhere you want to go in your hands.
Yeah, I got to play with it a little
Yep.
bit before our interview. It feels like Xbox controls in your hand. Obviously, it's a little bit heavier because there's more hardware there, but it does have that kind of familiar Xbox feeling. And then it's a full-powered Windows gaming laptop in a way.
Yeah, well, and it's hard actually to talk about it and not pick it up, I'll be honest. Yeah, when you hold it and you close your eyes, it feels like an Xbox controller. But you're right, it is powered by Windows.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty cool aspect of it because once you go through Ubi, every other time you open the device, you boot right into an Xbox experience. But because it's Windows, any game that you have that you bought from a PC store that's on this device, it all shows up in one.
That is so cool.
For gamers.
Yeah, and that's kind of been part of Xbox's strategy, right? Like more cross-platform games, like less focus on exclusives. Can you kind of tell me how this fits into the Xbox like big picture strategy? Why this? Why the handheld?
Well, we've always believed that people want to be able to play any game they want, anywhere they want, with anyone. And gaming is entertainment. You should be able to take it with you everywhere. You shouldn't be constrained to a single device. You shouldn't be locked to a single store. And this is the manifestation of it.
Yeah, so do you imagine most people will have an Xbox console and they'll also have the new Ally handheld? Is that kind of the big picture vision?
You know, I think that we'll see a whole range of people using it. For some folks, this will be the device they want to game on. They want to take their games with them anywhere. They're a PC enthusiast. They want to be able to access all of their stores in one place because you can also plug it into the TV and project to the TV as well. And then there's going to be other people we know that are console users where this is a great add-on to your console experience. One of the cool things we did for console users in here is in the UI, if you have a game that you started on the console and then you stopped in that game and you grabbed your Ally and you're somewhere out in the world walking around, it actually knows right where you left off and you can go right back in and play that game.
That seamless thing is like something I wanted for a long time, you know. I mean, I enjoy that in PC gaming as it is, I'll be honest. But the Steam Deck, you know, it's so refreshing being able to pick up a game on my Steam Deck, play it, progress, and then, you know, let's say I want to connect it up to my, you know, I want to get on my gaming PC, play at max graphics, being able to just continue where I left off from the Steam Deck on my gaming PC, super seamless, super smooth. Xbox is going for that same thing. I'm a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued of these whole closed ecosystems, right? Your PlayStation games, your Nintendo games, if you buy The Witcher or something, or Cyberpunk on your Switch. Oh, well, actually Cyberpunk and I think CD Projekt Red have went out their way to make sure cloud saves across different platforms works, but for most games, that's not the case. So if you buy a game once on your Switch 2, let's say, you put like 10 hours into it, and you're like, you know what? I want to play this at like 120 frames with like better graphics and stuff. I want to buy it again on PC. You know, chances are, you know, because of those closed wall ecosystems, you know, you're not able to carry on from where you left off. And that's always been a point of friction, and that's why I've sort of been leaning more towards PC gaming. So for them to make that important, you know, with a lot of the stuff they're doing right now with the Xbox ROG Ally and their next gen Xbox, I think that's just the right choice going forward. And, you know, for us people that are maybe not, you know, that want to be a little bit more fluid with the different platforms to be game on, I think Xbox is making the right decision. Again, another win for Sarah Bond. Thank you.
And if it's installed on the device, you're playing it natively. But if for some reason it's not on a device, you can actually play it over the cloud. It knows right where you were.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
One of the coolest features I've seen so far is the kind of co-pilot integration.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things is you can actually press the button and ask the AI questions. Where does AI fit?
That's super cool.
Gaming? Is that the vision that everyone has their own like built-in AI assistant as they're playing games from now on?
Well, we just believe that anyone should be able to jump in and play a game, and we should make it easy and accessible, and it should be in flow state with you. So yeah, the way it works is you like long press this button. You could be in the middle of a game. You can ask it, hey, can you tell me how I actually use the ABXY, or what do I do now, or which way do I turn and what happens, and it will help you out.
That is super cool.
It really opens up more games for more people. Like there's some games that are super intimidating. Like so many people were intimidated by Elden Ring, right?
Right. Great.
Oh, dude, a perfect example, Mrs. Sarah Bond. I don't know why I keep repeating her name. I guess it's just... Anyways, that, you know, that's been a feature with AI that I thought would have been a great use case for AI for ever since AI's really taken off with ChatGPT and everything like that. Being able to just be like, I'm stuck on this quest on Elden Ring or, Skyrim or, Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, which I'm actually playing right now, or even Battlefield, any game. You're maybe stuck on a quest and you're like, where do I go next? The game's not super intuitive. It's not telling you where to go. It's making things a little bit difficult, and you end up having to troubleshoot for a while in Google and stuff like that. But being able to long press the button on a gaming handheld like this and get like AI feedback and be like, oh, this is what you do next, and it's super seamless, and that's a perfect use case for AI. So that's really cool that they've included that.
People will be more likely to try more games, and people stay in games longer. So the team worked really hard to integrate it into the full experience for you versus having to go out, go ask something else. Here it is in flow state. It understands your context. It understands what you want.
Your Switch 2 doesn't do that.
I'm lost. Where do I go from here?
You're right at the Horizon Festival site in Mexico, so pretty much a prime starting spot. Just follow the road out of the festival area and you can explore anywhere you want to go from there.
Yeah, I assume it would be watching your screen, and that's how it would know. But it seems like it's also reading other data, like it knows what game you're in, or it knows kind of like what you have in the background, what tools are available. So like
that is super cool.
Go from a few different places, not just what's on the screen, right?
Yeah, we wanted to build your own
I think I'm gonna have to do a whole separate video just talking about that feature. That is super neat.
gaming sidekick. Like, you should never have to game alone ever again, even if you're just holding this device. And so it does do that. When you push the button, it knows where you are in the game. It also knows what game you're playing. It also knows your gamer profile and a whole bunch of things about all of your gamer identity with Xbox. And it uses all of those to give you recommendations, to give you tips, to recommend other games for you that's operating in context of what you want and what you most need.
Yeah, and I mean, to put it in Xbox terms, it kind of feels like your own personal, like, Cortana. You know?
I've had a couple people say that.
But it seems like it's that kind of idea, right? Like, it's a voice in your head that talks to you, that helps you solve problems. And
It's your friend. Yeah, helps you through your game.
Very cool. So you talked about making gaming accessible. That's definitely something I've heard you say in other interviews as well. I know this starts at $1,000. I know we've recently seen some price increases.
That's a pain point.
Game Pass, some increases on devices and consoles, and I mean that's got to cut into accessibility a little bit.
Apologies for that.
How do you think about that as president of Xbox, like in terms of making games accessible?
Yeah, there is a lot going on, but at Xbox, what we're focused on is how do we create options for everybody? So with this device, we have two devices. We have the Ally X. It's for a premium experience for the most demanding player. It has all the latest innovation in it. We also have the Xbox Ally if you're a more casual enthusiast who wants to jump in, or you're looking for something cool to buy your kid to put under the tree, this Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's all about having choice and option for players in a time when there's a lot going on and there's a lot of different things that people want.
Interesting. Yeah, the rumors are that the next gen console will be almost more like a gaming PC in a lot of ways. That it'll be super high powered. I don't know if you can speak to that at all, but I mean, that would be helpful for me because there's a lot of like PC games I'd love to play, but like I said, getting the barrier of entry seems like it's really high. So if there was a console that could kind of be a gaming PC and console in one, like that would be helpful for me.
Tom Warren.
I don't know what you can tell us about the next gen console.
Is that Tom Warren?
Well, I can tell you're right that the next gen console is going to be a very premium, very high-end curated experience. You're starting.
I could be. I'm so sorry if that's not Tom Warren that's doing the interview with Sarah Bond. I apologize, but he's hitting like all the points that I'd want for the next gen Xbox. About maybe being a high end experience with as a gaming PC, because gaming PCs. I know a lot of people say you could build a gaming PC you could build it for the same price of. The same price you'd spend on a console. Sure, you can if you go out and buy used parts and scavenge and especially when these next gen consoles come out, they're pretty like mid-tier gaming PCs as it is. They're sort of pushing the boundaries in terms of making high-end gaming 120 hertz 120 FPS or hertz 4K accessible to the masses. And I think having just Windows on it and being able to run PC games on something that's like $500-600 is really convenient. I mean, sure, there's a lot of satisfaction in building a gaming PC. I've built 2 gaming PCs or several, in the years that I've been a PC gamer, and it's really satisfying, tinkering and buying a motherboard and upgrading your CPU every so often. Because I want to upgrade my CPU right now. It's super satisfying, and I don't think anyone's trying to take anything away from that. Building a PC would still be my preferred choice, but selling an Xbox that runs Windows and that's pretty powerful for like $500-600, I mean, that's a really low barrier to entry to get into PC gaming. And you could say, oh, it's never going to be as good as PC gaming. Sure, it's not. There's not going to be as many options. You're not going to be able to open it up and swap out your CPU and your motherboard and do little upgrades and tinker with stuff as freely as you are able to with gaming PCs. But does it take away from gaming PCs and like a lot? Not really. It's a cheap barrier to entry for people to get into PC gaming, and I think it's overall a win. And if Xbox want to do that, I think that's just awesome.
Going to see some of the thinking that we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away.
We're talking a lot.
Oh, give it all away. We want to see. We want to hear it all.
But, when we think about those pivotal gaming moments, like I mentioned, Halo, or I remember playing Myst, with my dad.
Yeah. Oh my God, Myst was good.
It was.
Now you're really hitting the nostalgia.
You're really extra dating
for it.
myself.
Yeah.
But we haven't really talked a lot about like games, and I know like exclusives have been less of a focus. It seems like with Xbox, we're getting more like cross-platform games. Where do like big blockbuster, exclusives fit into this, if at all, or is it kind of evolving past that place?
We're really seeing people evolve way past that. Like the biggest games in the world are available everywhere.
Yeah.
You look at Call of Duty, you look at Minecraft, you look at Fortnite, you look at Roblox. Like that's actually what's really driving community in gaming. That's where people gather, they have experiences. And the idea of locking it to one store or one device is antiquated for most people.
It is.
Be able to play with your friends anywhere, regardless of
Yeah.
what they're on. And we're really leaning
Tell PlayStation
into
now.
this experience because it just opens up another way for you to play. As does cloud, as does PC, as does the consoles that we all own and have in our living room.
Thank you so much for joining Mashable in the studio. This has been the highlight of my week. I was so excited we got to do this. This is a really cool product.
Well, thanks for having me, and I look forward to you telling me more about how you enjoy playing the device.
We'll have a review coming soon. We're
Awesome.
excited.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Awesome. So yeah. So I just want to apologize to everyone for the start of the video. I assumed this was Tom Warren. It is not Tom Warren. It's Timothy Beckworth, who's the tech editor at Mashable, and it was Tom Warren that shared it over an X, and I just I put two together and was like, okay, that must be the same guy. It's not. Anyways, Timothy Beckworth, you did an amazing job at the interview. You brought up a lot of the key points. I think Tom Warren over an X has been echoing a lot of the same things over the past couple of months as well about Xbox's direction. So the way they were sort of hitting the same key points that I've been wanting to hear about, I thought they were the same person, but they're not. So let's see what people have had to say over on Tom Warren's post, and we'll head over to YouTube and see the comments. It's Xbox news time. No, Phil, please, no. So true. Do you guys see my video the other day where we were talking about how like every time Phil Spencer has news to share with Xbox, it's always like negative. I'm in love with mine right now, an absolute fantastic device. This is the most choreographed and softball interview I think I've ever seen out of politics. Questions were obviously pre-calculated and carefully curated to address all the various controversies surrounding Xbox. Not really. I mean, honestly, I feel like Timothy Beckworth did a really good job in just hitting a lot of the key points people care about. It doesn't feel choreographed. I mean, to some extent it would have been, but I mean, I felt like, he pushed the boundaries, asked questions, brought up the price. I mean, it isn't a political interview. He's not going to just hold no bards and like just punch and hit her with like, why did Xbox raise the price of Game Pass? You do realize it's alienating your customers, blah, 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 blah. They think you've given up on next gen. Of course, he's not going to be an asshole, but I think he touched on a lot of key important points. A console that dual boots Windows for PC games would sell like hotcakes if it was priced like a console. Absolutely. Could not agree. Ed Anderson. Just slap an Xbox sticker on an Asus pre-built mini PC, add the Xbox app, and boom. The biggest technical leap in console history. Can't believe this is what people cheered and fought for. Disaster, they're targeting people with PC prices. Those people will still be buying PCs while they price out console users. Xbox is truly headed for doom. I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, Xbox 360, if they've got to to straddle this line very carefully, right? They can't be trying to just alienate console gamers and sell like a gaming PC for like $1,500-$2,000, right? And call it an Xbox console. Be like, oh, it is an Xbox console, but it lets you do so much more. I think they've got to hit that sweet spot, okay? And this is very important for Xbox. We've been wanting, Xbox is owned by Microsoft. They had the potential to slap Windows on the Xbox Series X, honestly. And for those people that maybe do want to use it as a gaming PC and then sell it for $500 to $600, again, at that price point, with those features, I think it would sell like hotcakes. And if they make a misstep here and sell this for ridiculous money, I can't basically market this as a new console that runs Windows, but also as a gaming PC, and they try and sell it for like $1,500 or gaming PC level prices, I think we're going to see a lot of backlash. So they've got to be really careful. They've got to hit that sweet spot, right, between power and performance with flexibility, being able to run your entire game library and sell it for such a sweet price. It will fly off store shelves. It will destroy PlayStation. Well, it won't destroy. I hope it doesn't just destroy PlayStation, but I think it would be amazing. Again, we're seeing a lot of positive feedback here from people that have picked up the Xbox ROG Ally. I think it was a bit pricey at the price point it came in at $1,000, and I've definitely not shied away from telling you guys I thought it was a bit overpriced. The Lenovo Legion Go 2 is overpriced as well by a couple of like $300 more bucks, but I like the feature set on the Legion Go 2 a little bit more than the ROG Ally. The screen's been a bit of a disappointment for me on the ROG Ally, and I know that's something I've been complaining about, but yeah. Anyways, my prediction is that Xbox will eventually become a virtual console, one that can be installed as an app on any Windows PC or just come standard with Windows. There will surely be, well, they can already have, to be fair. You can install the Xbox app and cloud stream from anything right now, but it's got a lot of input latency and it requires a good internet connection. But anyways, I think we'll wrap it up at that. The video's up to 27 minutes, technical difficulties included. So I don't know if I'm going to maybe edit this out or just upload it in one chunk and be like, you know what, we did rewind a little bit despite the audio issues. But anyways, I'm Blaze. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, click the bell icon, stay up to date for more Xbox news. Check the links down below in the description. Let me know your thoughts, because this is just a really interesting time as gamers. And I think, it's really cool. And I'm loving every minute of it. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.